Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back for another Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Duel. This time I'm featuring two very old cards from Legacy of Darkness. Hino-Kagu-Tsuchi and Yamata Dragon. Two spirit monsters with an amazing effect, although hardly anyone is playing them. Now, why is that? I've got the question a couple of times in the previous DevPro videos and people were PMing me and why Frogmonarchs don't play these cards. So in this video I'll try to answer why both cards aren't that optimal in Frogmonarchs. I'll try to give enough arguments through dueling, so you can see why these cards aren't that great. Alright, off to the first duel. My opponent's playing Harpies. I think he gets to start. He's going to discard or at least search 2 hunting grounds, I believe. Yeah. 2 hunting grounds, and he's just going to set his Wing Blast and pass. Looking at my hand, it's not that great. Unless, of course, I draw into swap 3-born Foolish or double Duality to activate Duality and hopefully pick up one of my outs for a 3-born. Luckily, the 6th card is a swap frog, so I can get my engine going. Mill the 3-born and pass. So he normal summons his Channeler, I make C, of course his Channeler, he discards an Harpy's Pet Dragon and special summons the 2nd one. Maybe it's strange to play 2 Pet Dragons, I don't know. I would only play 1 in Harpies. Here he makes C's my 3-born, just for the 1-for-1, although he does stop me making a big play. Like, my plan was to activate the enemy controller on his Pet Dragon and then put the Light and Darkness Dragon on board. Since he does have 1 back row and already putting the Hino-Kagu-Tsuchi on board, that's not very smart, since it's obviously bottomless prison or whatever. I don't want to lose just yet. So again, Maxi is Chandler, he again passes. Luckily, MST is back row in the draw phase, so he cannot chain the Wing Blast and then bring back 3-born. And then, because he has no back row, let's rip his hand apart with the Hino, get it on board to attack over his Chandler, and in the end phase, Hino returns to the hand, so he discards 4 cards, which is cool, I guess. Alright, so obviously he only has 1 back row, so if it's not warning, Light and Darkness Dragon is going to wreck. Get the Light and Darkness Dragon on board. He draws into a useless magical mallet. I don't know why he's playing mallet, maybe to put this Harpy's Pet Dragon back into the deck. It's also an extra target for Summoner Monk, but still I don't know. I don't see a reason why you would run a magical mallet in Harpies. He Wing Blasts on the Light and Darkness Dragon, so he drops to 2-3. He topics into a useless one. Maybe I should have summoned the 3-born here, so I can, so I would have attacked for the game. But yeah, I think there's no reason to go ham, put the 3-born attack and so on. Next duel. My opponent is playing Frog, so it's a mirror match, although he's running Suborg and 2 Frog. So I don't know, it's Suborg and maybe Illusory Snatcher. Going for Volcasaurus and so on, you know, the huge burn damage move. Here, my plan wasn't to go for Gachi. I wanted to bounce my swap frog for a 2nd time, but I've read in the comment section from my previous DevPro video that YGOPro was using the OCG ruling of swap frog. So swap frog could only bounce once per turn. So I make Gachi. Eventually, he also makes a strange move, like he just should have special summoned his swap a 2nd time and just tribute his Ronin totem for the chaos. But we know the deal by now. He does not have any back row, and if he does not have Veiler, I'm going to rip his hand apart with the Hino again. No Veiler, so Hino attacks over the chaos. He loses all his hand. He tops into uses enemy controller. He only has the 3-born. He only has 1 3-born in the grave, or at least now on the field. So let's rise that back to the top of his deck. And now, I don't think I can lose this duel. So I think he's just going to scoop. Yep. So Hino, not that super, but it's really situational. Both Hino and Yamata are really situational. But still, it worked out in the duel. Next, I think the third duel of the game, third duel of the video. My opponent is playing Mermails, and I think I get to start. My opening hand is not that great, but as soon as I see that he's playing Mermails, I expect Maxi at least giving me at least giving me 2 extra draws to dig for a possible Treeborn. So the Linde needs to get rid of the field, and I make a sneaky move, set the Spirit. Like most of the time it's better to set both Yamata or Hino to the field since they have huge defense, and the opponent is not expecting either Hino or Yamata Dragon. So in this case I set Hino-Kagu-Tsuchi, since Yamata Dragon, if Yamata Dragon gets this effect off, I can only draw cards until I have 5 in hand, so Yamata Dragon is not that great in Frogs, since most of the time you can just set your hand, for example. Although maybe I activated my Maxi a bit too soon in the end phase, but since I had a Veiler in hand, I knew I had protection against a possible Dracossack or Big Eye in the next turn, so that's why I Maxied in the end phase. Maybe there's a chance I draw into another Maxi, so that's why I did that. And here, as expected, he attacks into the Hino. He's going to lose his hand in the draw phase, but this is again a downside to the card. It's Hino does not get this effect right away, so it's only he only gets this effect in the next draw phase. So the opponent still has a chance to make further plays in main phase 2, set his whole hand, and so on. So he only loses 2 cards for that reason. He top decks into an Aqua Spirit. Good move, excellent top deck on his part. He can make or at least put the Ryza in defense, and I cannot switch position of Ryza. So I think my only move here was to normal summon, swap, and bounce back the Ryza for next turn, so I can bounce his Exceed and attack over the Aqua Spirit. He top decks into a Tidal, which can cause some problems. I Maxi for the 1-for-1, since I don't think Maxi is going to be that great later in the duel. So I have the Ryza in hand, and here I top deck into an enemy control. So that's amazing. Econ his, I believe, his Exceed. Then bring back the Treeborn for some extra protection. Aqua Spirit activates, not that important. Then Ryza is Tidal to at least give him a semi-dead draw, like nothing extra. And then attack over his Aqua Spirit, activate the Foolish to put a Ronin in grave and pass. I have a useless Yamata Dragon in grave. Yamata is okay, but as I said before, you draw cards until you have 5 in hand, and Frogmonarchs are a very conservative deck, so most of the time you'll have 3, 4, or 5 cards in your hand, and then Yamata Dragon is not that useful, not as effective. So again, make the sneaky move, set Yamata Dragon, so he's probably expecting another Hino-Kagu-Tsuchi. And this is perfect. He does not special summon his Tidal, and I draw into Chaos, so you know what's coming. The Treeborn is special summon back to the field, tribute for Chaos to banish his face down infantry, flip that Yamata Dragon, attack with the Chaos since we know it's not Gorse, for example, because it's the Tidal, then attack with Yamata to draw 4 cards. I see, this is also very important, I want to get as many draws as possible from the Yamata Dragon, so I set my Duality, which in most of the times is a terrible move since it's dead. That's also one of the big downsides from these spirit monsters. You will make plays that you normally won't make, and thus bringing you, or at least put you in a worse position. But I'll come back to that at the end of the video in the deck profile. Okay, last video, or at least last duel of the match. My opponent is playing Dragon Ruler Blends. Get the Treeborn in grave. He activates Tidal, I believe, to send a Blaster to the grave for a Redux. I have no further plays, just bring back the Treeborn since he Maxied for the 1-for-1. He top decks into a Terraforming for the Ravine and already sets up his grave with all his dragons and so on. There is the Lone Fire, so you know what's coming. Crimson Lader. Crimson Lader is also very big against Frogmonarchs, since I have the Chaos in hand as a possible out to Crimson Lader next turn. But he takes a Treeborn, and I don't have Veiler to stop Crimson Lader's effect. So my plan here was to, I cannot tribute for Chaos, but I can still tribute set. So I set the Hino, since I think that's my only play. Maybe he's going to attack it, not expecting. Maybe he's expecting a Light and Darkness Dragon. So maybe he's going to play around it, or make Big Eye to steal the Light and Darkness Dragon. Now he's definitely able to make Big Eye. But let's see what he's going to do. He normal summons the Dragon, then yeah, synchro summons for Scrap Dragon. Yeah, he's just going for game. And here I think he indeed was expecting a Light and Darkness Dragon. So maybe making Big Eye was a better move. Although it was an okay move, since the Light and Darkness Dragon now would have been destroyed, and I would have special summoned the Treeborn, and then Crimson Blade would have attacked Treeborn, and then lock me during my turn again. But it wasn't. So this was a very, very big move, or at least turn a duel. I top deck into an enemy controller, so I take control of the Scrap Dragon, blow up my useless duality, and put that Light and Darkness Dragon on board. So now he needs to waste a lot of cards to get rid of it. He also has a Gorse in hand, maybe a strange choice to play Gorse in Dragon Rulers because of Ravine. But yeah, we know in the mirror match, or yeah, that your Ravine is not going to survive, maybe yeah, for 1 turn or 2 turns. So I expect this thought process. I see where his thought process is going to. So now, as you see, he needs to waste a lot of cards to get that Light and Darkness Dragon down. He waits. He's not going to Synchro Summon for Star Eater just yet to get rid of my Treeborn now, which is, I think, the better move. And then he Synchro Summons for Star Eater and passes my turn. Now I draw into an effect failure to yeah, possibly block Big Eye or whatever, or a Dracossack. Tribute to AK has no Veiler on his part, on his side, so the Star Eater is banished. Take directly for 2-4, so he drops to 2-8. And here he draws into a return from a different dimension. He activates Blaster. He's just going to attack over the chaos and set his back row. So here, my thought process was like, okay, I don't think Dragon Rule was main MST. So which cards do they set? Maybe it's a bluff, but I cannot risk, or at least I cannot push for a game. That was my first, yeah, that was the first thing I thought of. I cannot push for the duel. So banishing the Blaster. Yeah, it would have been a stupid move. So I think my only option here was to indeed banish his back row, just in case if it was a return. Since yeah, if he activated his return in his own, turn, it would have been game over. So all his dragons, he gets all of their effects, full hand, goes ham. Normal summons his Trooper, making a strange, or at least a dangerous move on his part. Also mills a Dandelion, makes Master of Blades, I believe it's called, and attacks with Trooper directly. So now he's only at 1,400 life points, and he also banished this Spore, I believe, a few turns ago. So here the Spore would have come in handy, like he could have made, or could make Stardust, for example, to at least get a Trooper off his field, since he only has 1,400 life points left. I don't draw into a Monarch to attack over the Trooper. I have to Veiler his Red Eyes, so now again he's thinking, okay, I can just push for game, push for the duel. Lucky I do have another Fader to save my ass. And here the Treeborn is special summoned again, so get that Yamata Dragon to the field and attack over the Trooper. So here also my draw was enemy control, so if he would have put his Card Trooper in defense, it wouldn't have made a difference, since I would just put it to attack position with the enemy controller and again attack for game. So all in all, I think pretty okay duels. After the decklist. For testing I was playing 2 Hino and 1 Yamata Dragon, since Hino is a bit better, but still. So now, to answer the question, why aren't Frogmonarchs playing these cards? First of all, most of the time it's just better to bring a Monarch or a Light and Darkness Dragon out, since summoning one of these spirits will make you play other cards that you won't normally play in a scenario, like wasting an enemy controller or wasting a Fader, you know, to get the extra tribute monster you need. Yeah, and if you get their effects off, that still doesn't mean a good game. Second, most of the time it's just better to set both spirits, since your opponent won't expect it and they will attack into it. But this is a very passive play, and it lets your opponent counter or punish your passive play very easily, like with Darkhold, Dracossack, Big Eye or Priestess and so on. Then, because this is a back row format, because, you know, no heavy storm, I would rather want to summon a Mobius or a Chaos to simplify the game state, instead of risking attacking with, for example, Yamata Dragon into your opponent's full back row and losing it to a prison. Also, both spirits need 2 tributes, which isn't that big of a deal in Frogmonarchs, although I dropped a Seged Mobius, a Jinzo, and also possible Vanity's Fiend or Vanity's Fiends from the main deck in favor of those spirits. And believe me, both spirits are inferior to the tribute monsters I just mentioned. The last argument, which is also an important one, is that they are spirits, simply, and they return to the hand in the end phase, and thus leaving your field open, which is why you will probably make again strange moves, like wasting an early fader or already using Ronin Totem to special summon into the field to block the opponent. And in case of a Monarch, you won't have to make those plays, and yeah, eventually keep them for later in the duel. Again, playing conservative, which is very important for Frogmonarchs. There are still a few arguments, but the ones I previously mentioned are, I think, the most important ones to say that both cards, Yamata Dragon and Hino-Kagu-Tsuchi, aren't that great in a deck. So I hope I answered everyone's question. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Guys, thanks for watching, and feel free to leave a comment or a like if you enjoyed the video. Liam signing out. Peace.